Hello and welcome to this asynchronous lecture on working scientifically. My name is Martin and I will be your presenter for today. I'm working at the chair of Ecological Resource Technology for Professor Dr. Christoph Helbig. And we will look at how to work scientifically, what it means to work scientifically, and why we are doing this scientific work and why we are working with certain standards. We will work through several chapters. You can stop and pause in every chapter or rewatch one chapter if you want to, and just use this information you get in this lecture to improve your scientific work. Try to make notes, maybe rewatch it if you forgot something, and you can access all of those videos for this for the different chapters in the e-learning of Uni Bayreuth. So in the beginning, I want to ask you, what does it mean to work scientifically? And I want to ask specifically you, what does it mean for you to work scientifically? In the end, all of us are here at the university are working scientifically, and your thesis you're going to write, doesn't matter if it's a thesis for a seminar, for bachelor or master thesis, this is also scientific work. And we have certain standards we have to apply to this scientific work. And I want to know from you, why are we doing that and what does it mean to work scientifically? I recommend that you really do this exercise and all the exercises that will come in this lecture. And that means after I finish talking, please stop the video, grab a pen, grab some paper, take yourself some time, write down your answers, and then resume the video. So please now stop the video and write down your answers. So thank you for stopping the video and writing down your answers. I will be very interested what does it mean for you to work scientifically, and I hope you got some time to reflect why are you doing this here and why you're writing your thesis and what you want to achieve with this thesis. In the following lecture, I will highlight some of the main points that we at the chair think is important to keep in mind while working scientifically. And I hope in the end you will be able to finish a thesis, if it's a bachelor, master or seminar thesis, with great success, and the most important that you learn a lot during doing your thesis. So what are the objectives of scientific work and why it is important? Researchers aim at gaining objective and intersubjective insights. That means we're not aiming at opinions but at facts. We're trying to find out facts. And researchers do that by testing hypotheses in a systematic and revisable way in order to gain new insights. Or they could make conclusions that are drawn from observations. That would be the inductive approach. So we have scientific methodologies and we have scientific tools to do this scientific work. And not just us, but also you as students at the university. While writing your thesis, you're applying those scientific tools and methodologies to gain new insights. And you're doing that in a way that someone can revise it and that it is systematically. In publications, researchers document and publish the research results so that other researchers can comprehend their work and express their view regarding it. So your thesis in some way is a publication, because we at the chair are also reviewing your thesis and evaluating how you worked there. So your work has also to be reproducible, that other researchers can understand what you did there and why you did it there. So please document your work in the thesis. And in the end, there is a good citation from 1120 dwarfs are standing on the shoulders of giants. And in the end, that's what we are doing. We are not developing the world from 0 to 100, but we are starting at 99 and bring one little grain of insights on top of it. And that's also your work with your thesis. You don't have to find out everything in the world, but you have to find out your small little approach and your small little addition to knowledge. So if you want to know why it is important to take all of these objectives into account, let's have a look at what happens if you don't respect the scientific working norms and standards. Academic research is only successful when the society trusts in what we are doing, what we as researchers are doing in the field of research. And this turn requires a good academic practice. During your doctoral studies or your bachelor thesis or your master thesis or your seminar thesis, you must therefore honestly describe where and how you refer to other work. That means having some sort of literature overview at the end of your thesis and also citing in an appropriate way. Document also your results and document them in a way that other researchers can understand them. And save your results and store them. So maybe hand in your model, hand in your data, describe it in your thesis. And a violation of the academic ethical principles can occur in many ways. And you know this person down here, he was studying in Bayreuth, and maybe he did not take into account these ethical principles in an appropriate way. Can also be consciously or not consciously. So keep care of having a good and clean scientific working style. Not clean and not good working styles could be cheating, for example, or plagiarism, or fabrication, falsification, collusion, and fraud. Please omit all of those and try to work in a clean way. That way, you're not only protecting your own work and your effort you put into your thesis, because if you get busted by cheating, then sure, you're not getting graded good. But you're also helping society and the academic world to keep the trust in you and to keep the trust in research. Some general rules for scientific writing, and we will come back to that topic in a later chapter, but I want to give you a brief and short overview what is important and why it is important. So some general recommendations for writing are do not use the first person form. So try to omit writing I did work, etc., etc., or my work or our contribution is, etc., etc. Try to omit it, and that way it's easier to understand and it's good scientific practice. And try to write briefly and precisely. So you want people to understand what you did there, especially when it's a thesis, then you want the people evaluating your thesis to understand what you did there. That is easier when it's a short sentence than when it's like a very long and complicated sentence. And in the end, it's also when you understand the topic, then you can describe it in easy words and in a short way. That's the third point, write simple sentences. So try to omit writing very long and complicated sentences and try to shorten it down and to make it nice and understandable. And also avoid filler words. Filler words sometimes just appear in the text. I know that, also did that, had been there, but try to avoid them. It's also a good practice to go through your text, maybe a few days before you hand over your thesis or before you send your publication to the publisher, and to have a look at those filler words and try to skip them out. And use fixed terminology of your subject area of your research field. You are the expert for your thesis topic, and try to communicate in a way that other experts from the research field can understand you. It's also advisable, or it's also good practice to use fixed terminology, because that way you communicate in a precise way. And don't use the passive form too often. That's just good practice, because it's not good for scientific work to have too much passive forms in there. Some simple outline rules are also use paragraphs to structure your arguments. That way, normally it's also a little bit shorter, and you get a better overview when you look at the text and you have paragraphs there. And keep in mind that all arguments, methods, and data from others that you use, so data, methods, arguments, that you use in your thesis or for your thesis, but they are not produced by yourself. You must cite them. As we saw in the slide before, if you don't cite something, then this can have big problems. So try to cite everything that's not your own work, and also if you use something for your own work, then cite it too. And just document what you did and where you started, on which base you started, on what shoulders you started. And yeah, go through paragraph by paragraph or sentence by sentence and ask yourself for each and every sentence, does this sentence say what I wanted to say with the sentence, what it's supposed to say? And if so, can I say the same thing in a more simple, in a shorter, in a more precise way? Can I say the same thing with fewer words? And if you say yes, then please shorten it down. We want to try to give as much information in a precise and condensed way the best we can. Yeah. And the shorter, normally the shorter, the more precise your text is, your work is, the better. So what are the requirements for your thesis? Totally understand that you want to focus on your thesis, and that working scientifically and working in a clean and good way is also important for you, but I totally understand that you want to know, okay, what do I have to take care of? So the chair of Ecological Resource Technology, we have a maximum amount for seminar theses of 4,000 words. That means please don't write more than those 4,000 words. Excluded from this limit are tables, visuals, figures, list of figures, and list of abbreviation, as well as the bibliography at the end of your work. For bachelor and master theses can also be more, but get into contact with your supervisor there. For seminar thesis, it's 4,000 words, so you're allowed to write less, but please don't write more than those 4,000 words. You can describe your work within 4,000 words, I'm sure. Structure your thesis in the standard way for our research field. So you start with a short abstract, then comes an introduction, then a description of the methods, then come your results, and in the end, please write a discussion and conclusion part. We have a combined discussion and conclusion part at the chair, because within a seminar thesis, it doesn't make too much sense to have this split up. So please write it in a combined way. The submission of your final work will be digital, so you can submit it via the e-learning of Uni Bayreuth. If you have problems with submitting it, then please get in contact with the chair in time. So if you're contacting us after your deadline and write us, hey, I wasn't able to upload it, yeah, then we can't accept it. So please try, or please stick to the deadline and get into contact with us if you have problems with that. Calculations, data sources, and potential written code by you have to be transparent and must also be submitted. too. You can also submit them via the e-learning. Try to work mainly with public code and with open and public data. We totally understand if sometimes you're not able to only work with public and open data. If you're working with closed data, then also submit this data and describe where you obtained it. Possible methodologies and tools for your thesis depend on the seminar you're in. So if you're attending the critical raw materials seminar, then it will be criticality assessment. If you're attending the industrial ecology seminar, then you have different and other tools. So please talk to your supervisor, talk the person teaching you, and ask them what methodologies and tools you can use. We at the chair can support you in a limited form, but we can support you with the following methods. So for example, with Python, R, with the MFA software STAN, with OpenLCA and SimmerPro, with ANSYS Grantor Selector or HSC Chemistry. You have to find out which tool you want to use and what methodology you want to work with, and you can always get in contact with me or with my colleagues and ask for a meeting and ask for help. And at the end of the first part of this asynchronous lecture, I want to ask you again a question. So please, after I finished speaking, again pause the video and write down your answers. So first question is, the last time you wrote a term paper or a thesis, bachelor thesis, master thesis, seminar thesis, maybe in school. So please describe, what did you find most challenging while writing your scientific work there? And how did you solve those challenges in the past? And what would you change this time? So pause the video now, take yourself some minutes, some time, write down your answers, and then come back to this video. So thank you for answering these questions. I also brought you some answers that I wrote down and that other students and colleagues told me. So the last time I wrote a term paper, or other people that I met wrote term papers and theses, a lot of them told me that they were running out of time at the end, or that it was not clear what to do and when to do it, and that the path was not clear and they had no plan how to work through it and how to write this thesis. And often they also describe that it's too complicated and that's why they run out of time in the end. So how did you solve those challenges in the past? It's hard to describe. I can also say how I solved them. So mainly I fell into this hole and had those problems. But I can tell you what you can do to change this in the future. So running out of time, not having a plan, not having a clear path, and also not being clear what you want to do when those are problems you can solve. And after the first lecture and in the next parts of this lecture, I will show you ways to prepare the way to your final thesis, your final submission of this thesis. And make notes during those lectures, write down what's helping you, and also try to set up a plan. You don't have to stick to your plan 100%. We all know plans are there to be overthrown when they get contact to reality, but try to write down when you want to do, what you want to do, until when you want to do it. And that way you have a plan. And if you see, okay, I have a plan, but I still don't know the path, I still not clear what to do, yeah? And if you still have the feeling that it's too complicated and you already were digging through some information and trying to solve the problem on your own, that get into contact with your with your supervisor, ask them for help. We are here to help you. Yeah, sure, we can't and we won't write the thesis work for you, but we are there to help you. So get in contact with us, ask for help, and do that with time in advance. So if you ask us for help one day before final submission, it will be hard for us to help you. But if you ask us a few months before, then we can help you. Or I'm sure we can help you. So keep that in mind, and we see us in the next lecture then. And the next lecture will be regarding literature search and how you can start with working scientifically. And that means how you can dig through the tons of papers that are out there and the millions of books, and how you start in finding what you need to write your thesis, and to know what shoulders you can stand on and what shoulders are already existing. And that way you can contribute your contribution to research. See you in the second part.